Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the morning Srīmad Bhāgavatam class. So let's continue from where we left off. Who volunteered to recite the verse today?
No one, Prabhuji. I think you didn't. No one said in the end. So
Okay.
I think Vinod Prabhuji volunteered.
Yeah, was it Vinod Prabhu? Anyway.
I did that yesterday, Prabhu.
Oh yeah. Anyone would like to recite?
Yes, Prabhu, I can try.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Naumidyate bhrapuse tadid ambaraya kunjavatam paripichala sanmukhaya vanyasraje kavala vetra vishana venu lakshma shriye midupade pashupangajaya.
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So we see in this verse, the first thing Brahmaji does is he accepts the personification of the Supreme Lord, that he has a form, that form is transcendental, that form is the source of all pleasure, and that form is one of Lakshma Shriye, beautiful. So without accepting the form of Krishna, there is no meaning to praise actually. Who do we pray to if there isn't a personality? So Brahmaji accepts this, and as the first and the foremost endeavor to accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, he makes this endeavor. In the second verse, he expresses that actually your manifestation of this form, vapuso, is only due to your own mercy, mat anugrahasya. You have been very merciful to me. And that this form is not a form of illusion, maya, but it is your reciprocation through the pure desires of your devotees. And what is the extent of happiness that we can estimate, my Lord, when you yourself are unlimited? So when the Lord is unlimited, then the question naturally comes how we can approach the Lord. It seems almost impossible. However, in the third verse, Brahmaji says, those who are sthane sthita, situated in their own positions, and sthane sthita shruti gatam, and are always hearing your pastimes, my Lord, in Srīmad Bhāgavatam, tanuvan manobhir, along and paying obeisances with their bodies, with their minds, with their words, then those persons, yipra yaso jita jito, they can conquer you, my Lord, who otherwise are unconquerable. So surely daily study and listening of Srīmad Bhāgavatam is a sure way that we can be on track to our journey towards home back to Godhead. And in today's verses, we will actually look at this point, that what actually Srīmad Bhāgavatam does to us in terms of keeping us in line. Now, verse 7 and 6 and 7, we saw that how the Lord is not formless. He is not without qualities. He is without material qualities, but he has all spiritual qualities in him. And acceptance of this is prelude to actually doing devotional service. If there's no Lord, there's no form of the Lord, then what is the meaning of devotional service? It has no meaning at all. And in text 8, actually Brahmaji very sincerely prays to the Lord for the Lord's mercy. And he maintains the philosophical point of how the sincere devotees, they endure difficulties in their path. And this is a very relevant verse actually for all of us. And it is applicable to each and every living entity. Let's look at this. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Nash Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatenukampam susamekshamano bhunjanayevatmakritam vipakam vidvagvapubhir vidadhan namaste Jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhav. Translation. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reaction of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Yes, please. Prabhuji, I can read.
Please, Mataji.
Sri Sridhar Swami explains in his commentary that just as a legitimate son has to simply remain alive to gain an inheritance from his father, one who simply remains alive in Krishna consciousness, following the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, automatically becomes eligible to receive the mercy of the personality of Godhead. In other words, he will be promoted to the kingdom of God. The word susamikshamana indicates that a devotee earnestly awaits the mercy of the Supreme Lord even while suffering the painful effects of previous sinful activities. Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that a devotee who fully surrenders unto him is no longer liable to suffer the reactions of his previous karma. However, because in his mind a devotee may still maintain the remnants of his previous sinful mentality, the Lord removes the last vestiges of the enjoying spirit by giving his devotee punishments that may sometimes resemble sinful reactions. The purpose of the entire creation of God is to rectify the living entity's tendency to enjoy without the Lord. And therefore, the particular punishment given for a sinful activity is specifically designed to curtail the mentality that produced activity. Although a devotee has surrendered to the Lord's devotional service until he is completely perfect in Krishna consciousness, he may maintain a slight inclination to enjoy the false happiness of the world. The Lord therefore creates a particular situation to eradicate this remaining enjoying spirit. This unhappiness suffered by a sincere devotee is not technically a karmic reaction. It is rather the Lord's special mercy for indicating his devotee to completely let go of the material world and return home back to Godhead. A sincere devotee earnestly desires to go back to the Lord's abode. Therefore, he willingly accepts the Lord's merciful punishment and continues offering respects and obeisances to the Lord with his heart, words, and body. Such a bona fide servant of the Lord, considering all hardship a small price to pay for gaining the personal association of the Lord, certainly becomes a legitimate son of God, as indicated here by the words Daya Bhak. Just as one cannot approach the sun without becoming fire, one cannot approach the Supreme Pure, Lord Krishna, without undergoing a rigid purificatory process, which may appear like suffering, but which is in fact a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, so much. Such a wonderful purport. So many points are mentioned here that the Lord to one, the example in the last few sentences given is just as one cannot approach the sun without becoming fire, one cannot approach the Supreme Pure, Lord Krishna, without undergoing a rigid purificatory process, which may appear like suffering, but which is in fact a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. So two things we have to especially, take into account here, that this curative treatment is administered by the personal hand of the Lord. And this is what in the paper is emphasized, that the suffering that a devotee actually undergoes is not due to his karma. It is actually the personal punishment that the Lord gives so that the devotee may remain in line. Otherwise, the devotee's sinful reactions already have been eradicated. However, it is the devotee's mentality that he thinks that it is his sinful reaction due to which the suffering is there. And he actually thanks the Lord that because according to his past deeds, the devotees thinks that I should be suffering more. But my Lord, you are so kind. You are just giving me a token punishment. And we can see, in our lives as well, sometimes many devotees express this, that the Lord has given me so much more than I deserve. And at the same time, the punishment or the bad things that should have come my way has been reduced. And what is the purpose of all this? The purpose of all this is that we remain clear on our path back home, back to Godhead. Why? Because we always have to be cognizant of this fact that we are tataksha. Tataksha means we are on the tata. Tata means on the shores of the ocean. We can either go in the ocean or we can come on the spiritual land. Brahmaji's example here is perfect. What need was there for him to try to test the Lord? But nonetheless, just little bit of complacency and our tendency to enjoy and take shelter of our own material mind and intelligence, we actually cannot help. Therefore, on daily basis, we have to pray to the Lord. And this is such a nice prayer. Let's look at word to word. Tat, therefore. Why therefore is used here? It is continuing from previous verses where Brahmaji has expressed, my Lord, you have transcendental qualities. Now, because Krishna has transcendental qualities, that means there is some meaning to the existence of the Lord that he can reciprocate with the devotees. And what is the reciprocation of the Lord? His reciprocation is anukampam, his causeless and special mercy. What is that causeless and special mercy? That he is, giving us an opportunity to approach him by giving an opportunity for bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Whatever our past sinful reaction has been, he gives us an opportunity to live through those realizations. Whatever wrong we have done in the past, we have to realize it, that this is what I did wrong. And, there's prayers of the unborn child in Srīmad Bhāgavatam, in the third canto, I think 31st chapter. And in the first verse there, the unborn child actually expresses that I am in this miserable condition of life in my mother's womb, packed in this tiny bag for a period of 9 months. And this condition, miserable condition of life, is just befitting my impious activity. So the unborn child accepts that it is due to his impious activity that the suffering is there. And this is how a devotee tackles problems of life. When something bad actually comes a devotee's way, the devotee always takes the responsibility that no, this is due to my past karma and this is due to my own undoing. The devotee never blames anyone else. The devotee takes every opportunity to ask this question: what have I got to learn from this situation, from this suffering? And in the meantime, he is susamikshama, meaning that he is patiently waiting, patiently suffering. Um, uh, I did a Veda-based search on this verse, Tatte Nukampam, and Srila Prabhupada has quoted this verse about 66 times. So we can assume how important this verse was to Srila Prabhupada. So I'd just like to read a few places from where Srila Prabhupada has quoted this. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text number 13 and 14 in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, in the Srīmad Bhāgavatam it is stated, Tatte Nukampam Susamikshimano. Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is Lord's mercy upon him. This is what Susamikshimano means. He thinks, thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far, far greater than I'm suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I'm not getting all the punishment I'm due. I'm just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the devotee is always calm, quiet, and patient. These three things are very important. The devotee is always calm, quiet, and patient despite many distressful conditions. A devotee is always kind to everyone, even to his enemies. So this quality is very important when things are not going our way. We don't have to counteract each and every situation. It is better to be calm, quiet, and patient and wait for the Lord to bestow his mercy. In the meantime, bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. We endure the suffering that is coming our way due to our own undoing. How? Hedvagvapu bhirvitatan namaste. With our heart, with our vapu body, and with our words, we actually pay obeisances to the Supreme Lord and glorify him. And when we live like this, then jiveta means if we live like this, then mukti pade sadhaya bhag, then attaining liberation from the cycle of birth and death becomes our rightful claim. And the example used here is that how the child only has to remain alive. So two words used here in the paper is that a legitimate son has to simply remain alive. So we have to be legitimate, firstly. How can we be legitimate? We are legitimate by the dint of our sadhana and our practices. If we are not doing our sadhana and our practices, then actually we are illegitimate. And an illegitimate child does not have any chance of inheritance. So we simply have to be alive in devotional service to get legitimacy, and that will then be our rightful claim for going back home, back to Godhead. So any reversal condition the devotee sees as a benediction of the Lord, and he takes responsibility himself. He doesn't blame others or shove it on someone else. Any questions or comments on this verse, Prabhu Mataji? So if we can memorize this verse as well, it's very important. As I mentioned, Srila Prabhupada has quoted 66 times this verse about Tatenukampam susamikshmano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam vidvagvapubhir namaste jivetayo muktipade sadayapa. Let's go on to text number 9. Pashye shame nar yamanantadye paramani vayapi mayini mayam vitta yekshitumatma vaibhavam yaham kiyan aicham ivarchir agno. Translation: My Lord, just see my uncivilized impudence. To test your power, I tried to extend my illusory potency to cover you, the unlimited and primeval supersoul, who bewilder even the masters of illusion. What am I compared to you? I am just like a small spark in the presence of a great fire. So Brahmaji is effectively now, claiming responsibility for his impudence and seeking forgiveness. Let's look at word to word. Pashya, just see, Isha, O Lord, may my anaryam, contemptible behavior, anante, against the unlimited, adye, the primeval, paramatmani, the supersoul. So we also, are anaryam. We have done many contemptible actions against the Lord. We just have to scratch our surface. In our own account, we are good persons. But actually, when the Lord is the witness, he only knows how much impudence we have done. How out of line we are. Our Guru Maharaj, used to sing this Gujarati bhajan. Hey, Karuna na Karuna Ram, Tari Karuna no koi par nathi. That, oh merciful Lord, there's no limit to your mercy. Because Mara Pap Bharya Cheva Tari Bhulyo Karvi Seva. Because I'm so sinful that due to those sins, I have forgotten to save you. However, Mari Bhulyo na Bhulna Ram, Tari Karunanu Koi Par Nathi. However, you forgot about the forgetfulness of mine. We have forgotten Krishna for so long. And when we come back to Krishna, Krishna never says that, oh, for so long you did not remember me. Now you have come, get out of here. Krishna never says that. Like a kind father who always has his doors open, Krishna has his doors open for the lost living entity to always come back. But we have to somehow or the other accept our fault. And this is what Brahmaji is doing here. Paramat, he says, Anante, against unlimited Adya, primeval, Paramatmani, supersoul, Tvai, you, Api, even Mai, Mayini, for the masters of illusions, Maya, Mayam, my illusory potency, Vitatya, spreading, Ikshitam, to see, Atma, your, Vaibhavam, power, he indeed, Aham, I, Kiyan, how much, Aicham, I desired, Eva, just like Archihi, a small spark, Agno in comparison to the whole fire. So, what is the Lord's Vaibhavam power compared to our insignificant power? We don't even have any power, but Lord is full of all potency and power. Therefore, the word Vaibhavam is only applicable to the Supreme Lord. So we all have being uncivilized and impudent. And what Srīmad Bhāgavatam does is daily it reminds us of this fact that we have to be in line of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, the risk is we become complacent. Complacency and laziness is the greatest dangers in the path of spiritual journey for a living entity. Why daily Srīmad Bhāgavatam has to be there? Because Srīmad Bhāgavatam daily brings our focus onto Krishna. It reminds us, no, don't go that path. That path is riddled with dangers that we may forget Krishna, we may slip. And when we see these heartfelt prayers of Brahmaji and we meditate on these prayers, then we see how even a great personality like Brahmaji needs to pray like this. So what to speak of us? Again, the translation, my Lord, just see my uncivilized impudence. To test your power, I try to extend my illusory potency to cover you, the unlimited and primeval super soul, who bewilder even the masters of illusion. What am I compared to you? I am just like a small spark in presence of a great fire. So tomorrow we'll look at another important verse where Brahmaji actually formally asks for forgiveness. Adaha shamas achyutamera jobho, he says. He uses the word shama, please forgive me. And it's a very important verse. This verse also needs to be memorized. Actually, every night, if you can just recite these prayers, then over time, these prayers will speak to you and give you realizations. This is what Bhagavatam is meant to be done. Thank you so much, Prabhus and Matajis. Krishna willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhuji, which verses we should recite every night? 1 to 10, all of them?
Yeah, as we are doing in progression.
Okay.
And there will be some verses, like, the ones I have been pointing out, I have found them, like, it is connected with me. So there may be some verses that will connect with you. So especially verse number 10, verse number 8, verse number 1, and so and so. But if we recite the whole series, it doesn't take long time. Every night, then we'll see that Srīmad Bhāgavatam actually in daily of our lives, it will speak to us. These verses will speak to us because these verses are live. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. the